The engines on the island of Sodor are good at different things. Gordon is a very good express. Percy is good at carrying the mail.
Yes, but according to that classic character motif, we should really be focusing on our number 2 engine. That's right, Edward. Our dear old friend who hasn't been focused on in a while. And although he's been through a lot, apparently his best trait is being a back engine. Okay, but he certainly has done more than that. Apparently some engines think he's doing nothing.
Edward is a useless old steam pot, Gordon sniffed. He should be retired. But he doesn't have tires, Percy said. Retired, said Thomas, means taken out of service. And not a moment too soon, said Gordon. And the other big engines agreed with him.
Are we really going down this path again? You said something like this before in Edward and Gordon from Season 1. And that was blown back in your face, wasn't it? Sounds like we are already building up another Gordonism. And Baldwin's Gordon voice. He should be retired. Plus the fact that Henry and James follow on this says a lot about how much they remember. Thankfully, Percy didn't think this kind of talk was good and brought it up to Top Hat.
I will attend to the matter immediately, said Sir Topham Hatt. Sir Topham Hatt had a plan. The new loop line is completed, he said to Edward. I want you to teach Stepney how to run it properly. But sir, he asked, who will look after the freight cars? Duck will do your work.
Oh, Stepney. Hope he's gonna speak this time. And Top Hat has a plan, huh? I'd like to see what kind of mastermind idea this guy has up his sleeve. Of course, the rest of the drama queens of Sodor felt more comfortable with Duck substituting for Edward. When I don't know how they could, when they were against him for a while as well in Duck Takes Charge of Season 2.
Edward enjoyed working with Stepney. It was great fun delivering passengers to stations in the beautiful countryside. But Duck was not happy. The trucks were playing their silly games.
Uh-huh. So Duck is having trouble with trucks? I guess that could happen. Not every engine is on their game every day. Although for him, I feel like this would have been rare considering he can handle them pretty well. But to each his own. Before Duck knew it, he was stuck on Gordon's Hill, and Gordon himself wasn't far behind. So all they could do was stop him instead of switching him over a line.
Gordon saw the guard. If I stop on this hill, I'll never get started again, he said crossly, and he buffered up to Duck. Gordon tried to set off again, but his wheels spun and spun.
Well, whose fault was that? You spoke out loud how Edward was of no help. A Gordonism at its finest. Not before long, help was requested, and turned out Edward would be the one supporting them from behind. Ooh, a challenge. Let's hope Edward can handle this amount of weight. He is old, you know, which means he needs to go easy on himself.
Edward cheerfully buffered up and the strange train set off.
Okay then, that's amazing. Edward's theme is back and it sounds wonderful. And I know Edward isn't working by himself, but that's eye-popping. This is Edward and Gordon times 2. How is he not struggling? They didn't even start at the bottom of the hill this time. Moving on, everyone got to where they needed to go, and Gordon got the scolding of a lifetime thanks to his own big mouth. Oh no, Percy ain't no tattletale.
The next morning, Gordon apologized. Thank you for helping me, Edward, puffed Gordon. You really are a useful engine. It's good to be back, Edward chuffed happily. Sir Topham Hatt's plan had worked. There was no more talk about Edward retiring.
There better not. Sir Topham Hatt was lucky his little scheme actually worked, because really, any engine the size of Edward could have helped. And surely, since Edward and Gordon of Season 1, the big man has added quite a number of engines to his library. However, I am happy it happened this way. Although the feelings felt in this story are not as valiant as the other ones like Old Iron or Edward's exploit of Season 2, it truly was great to let this guy shine again. He's had his chance to give his 2 cents from time to time in prior seasons. But as for a story about him, it has been a while. The fact that Edward was able to help 2 trains up Gordon's Hill is perhaps his biggest feat. While Edward may have not said as much this time, at least he proved everyone wrong again. I'm just surprised Thomas didn't join in with Percy's concern. That and the 3 drama queens completely forgot all the times Edward showed them up anyway. And yeah, Stephanie didn't say anything again. Anyway, aside from that, this episode was good. View-wise, this episode sure had a number of backed up spots. Tidmouth Bay Station, Marin Station, the Windmill, and Gordon's Hill all have angles at which much of the terrain can be seen. More importantly though, while Top Hat's theme is heard once, Edward's is brought back triumphantly twice, and it is still just as memorable for this entry as it was when it was first played. Next episode is Duncan Duncan. Thanks for watching.